We don't have a tagline yet for these two, so we're going to have to just go with two friends ranking cheesesteaks. We headed out to Lansdowne, found three spots, and ranked the cheesesteaks, trying to find the best of Delco. And here they are. Parking lot picnic.
Yes, we are.
We're going to do a. I ate at Paul Revere's, and they had a darn good cheesesteak, and they won some awards. And as I came out of Paul Revere, I noticed that Travers started selling cheesesteaks. So I thought, well, geez, if you're right next door to a place that makes really good cheesesteaks, and then you start selling cheesesteaks, they must be darn good cheesesteaks. And you notice how when they're not talking, their attention wanders.
We are rolling.
Okay. Want to notice there, you've got the tomato, it's pretty red. You got the lettuce there. Doesn't look like a lot of lettuce. And you've got the meat. It's a fairly good amount of meat. And you can see some of the mushrooms and some of the onion. Let's continue.
Put the roll.
Yeah, there's a roll there.
You like
That's all I
that?
got so far.
You got an initial reaction.
You have a tomato that's red and lettuce that's green. I don't know if the lettuce is causing a little bitterness to the sandwich, but the taste is it's not working for me. Came with how did you describe it, Dan? The tomato was red. And what color was the lettuce?
And the lettuce was like a pale green. It all both seemed a little wet. There was a lot of moisture with that vegetable.
I think he initially described it as seafoam green.
Might have. Should I tell you more about it?
And you got pictures of the steak sandwich here. And little faux pas, the lettuce and tomato on the bottom. Beefs up the sandwich, makes it look bigger than what it is. The meat, we decided probably needed a little more flavor. It's a good amount of meat for the price. I think it was $8. So it wasn't bad. Overall, nice sandwich. Nice. People were phenomenally nice in there. How about you, Dan? Anything to add?
Okay, well, I think it was a good effort on their part, but I have to be a little bit more critical. First of all, I didn't really get a good flavor of cheese.
I would agree with that. You're right there. I didn't get the cheese either.
And I think that the mushrooms were like a stock, maybe canned mushroom.
For sure.
And again, I think the meat needed a little bit of flavor, at a minimum, a little bit of black pepper.
And what color was the tomato, Dan?
Oh no, the tomato was red, but the lettuce was seafoam.
Somebody knows his colors.
And the bread held up. I don't think it had a lot of flavor.
No, the bread was nothing special.
But it held up to the sandwich.
Yeah.
So, with that said, I think we're on to our next adventure.
Dan and Alex for Philly Cheesesteak Adventure.
Okay, we're here at our next spot. It's Paul Revere. Supposedly, we've heard some good things about it.
The British are coming. The British are coming.
So we're getting a
Isn't that what Paul
cheesesteak.
Revere did?
Yes.
Was it the oneth by land, twoeth by sea? Well, we're getting oneth. That's all we have for right now until the meal comes.
I hate to point this out, but the broadcast gets into kind of a lull when I stay quiet. I'm not trying to point fingers at anybody, but just saying.
Okay, here's something that I wanted to point out. Now, it's in reverse.
It is a reverse.
Now, it's shredded lettuce.
Shredded lettuce on top.
But the lettuce and the tomato are on top.
Yes, they are.
Okay, let's give it a try.
Hey,
Tell us what you
let me
think.
tell you, right off the bat, I liked it.
Except for the
Okay.
pickles. You didn't like the pickles.
I don't like pickles. It's like a vegetable. So, I personally thought this was so far probably the best, or maybe tied with the best that we've been to in our short run so far. Meat was good, flavorful, good even cheese distribution. It tasted a little cheesy, which I like. The lettuce was a good accompaniment. It wasn't the star of the show, nor it should it have been. It was in the background. Same with the tomatoes, which I believe were red, and onions. Now, the only thing we talked to is we didn't taste mushrooms. I don't really care, but we'll let these guys talk about it more. The roll was very good. I almost had a little toastiness to it, which was delicious. Whole thing held up well. I wolfed mine down. I would eat a whole sandwich here. What do you think, Dan? What'd you think?
Well, first thing I want to point out is, if you look at this plate again, a man who doesn't really care for his cheesesteaks with lettuce and tomato, that's going. So that's some indication right there.
That's true. He's got a point.
I think the sandwich was well built. It held together well. There was a good amount of cheese. And I think the sandwich not only held together well, but it was built well too. Every bite you got a little something.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. As opposed to when they put the lettuce tomato on the bottom and then it leaked through or whatever.
Yeah, I have to agree with him.
The only thing I'd have to say is I didn't really get a good mushroom flavor. Maybe a little lacking in the mushroom. But overall, I'm putting this in the top 2 so far.
Good. And on the mushroom issue, I mean, I think you could even say that's like the lettuce. It shouldn't be overtaking the. It shouldn't be in the limelight. It's in the background. So who knows? Maybe it was there. I don't know.
So let me bring up this point. I'd like to go back in history.
Yes.
At what point in time did you realize you don't like pickles?
Oh, I have never liked pickles.
You never liked pickles?
Not really.
Even as just a little boy?
Yeah, I think I had a horrible experience when I was a little boy, and it's still with me. And that's why I get this twist.
Oh, well, I'm sorry that I brought it up
Yeah,
there.
I wish you had.
I feel bad.
After a lot of therapy, I thought I was getting past the whole pickle issue, but
Obviously, not. I think you're...
you know they're very welcoming here.
And Jim,
So
did you get a shot of this?
that's a good shot to get because I don't think there's a lot of meat. What are your thoughts
And
on that?
Also, take a shot of the back at the same time.
Now, that we can say for sure, there's not an even distribution of the lettuce and tomato. I didn't get a lot, which I'm happy about. So there you go. All right, so let's give it a try. Dan, do the honors, Dan.
Here we go.
Dan, it will now take the first bite. Let's see if he can get his big mouth around that sandwich. He's gotten it around other big things. Wink, wink. Oh, that was a good first bite. A little drippage. And we've established that we think all this drippage is from the lettuce. No, not sure.
Not
No?
necessarily.
No, not necessarily. What do you think? Mushrooms? Mushrooms are full of water.
Absolutely, I think it's the mushrooms that are starting
Okay.
to produce some moisture in this
Fair enough.
particular.
How's the taste? What's the first impression?
I think I need to go a little further.
All right, why don't you take a second bite while the audience anxiously anticipates your second bite. And here we go. Damn, that was a big bite. Don't choke on it. Oh, I'm sorry, that's what he said. Again. Okay, what's your second impression?
Okay, well,
And don't tell me you need a third bite.
there's a good mixture of cheese and meat ratio.
Okay. That's always a plus. We do like our ratios.
I can taste the mushrooms and the onion,
Oh, okay.
but they're not overpowering.
Excellent.
The lettuce is shredded, okay, and the tomato was a whole tomato. That's a little cumbersome.
Yes. Could have been sliced.
The roll seems like it's holding up rather well, and it's got a pretty good flavor.
What about the meat?
And I think that the meat is not dry, moist, and I think it has a good flavor. But at this time, I
Right.
think more importantly,
Yeah,
Alex, you should take a bite.
I'm going in. Okay. You're right about the tomato. It does make it a little awkward. Okay, here we go.
That first bite might have been reminiscent of the movie Jaws.
Dun, 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 dun. Seasoned. There might be something a little different on there.
And we both mentioned
The
that there
oregano.
was oregano,
It's not the
on the
oregano, though.
tomato, but that's not what that taste is.
Am I right?
You are
It's
correct.
something different.
You are correct.
It's definitely the saltiest of the three we've had. Not necessarily bad.
Correct.
We'll have to figure this out.
We'll finish our cheesesteaks and come back.
Yes.
About the tomato in this case was it was a thick cut tomato, almost like a beefsteak. It was very good, but the tomato did overpower a little bit. It was a little too thick for the cheesesteak, I thought.
And now I noticed that they put the oregano on top of the tomato
Yes.
after they put it on here.
Yeah.
But in my portion, I noticed that there was an abundance of oregano that went through to the meat or around the meat or whatever.
Okay.
And I took a bite that I was not happy with.
Okay. I actually think they dressed it and then they did the oregano on everything and some of it in yours.
Got it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's probably what happened.
So I'm not used to the oregano on my cheesesteak, and I'm not that crazy about it.
Right.
Now, I think that Alex and I have different opinion with regards to the moisture that is from here.
Yes.
I think that we're in agreement that something was added extra,
Yeah. They're very wet.
Whether
These are
it
very
was-
wet cheesesteaks.
whether it was marinated or whether there was just a squirt bottle of something. I am under the opinion that this was the saltiest, not bad, but the saltiest one that we had,
No doubt.
and it could have been in that liquid that they put on there.
Yeah. My ankles are swelling as we speak. That's how salty it was.
We'll save that shot for later.
Thank you. Also, the mushrooms were good.
Yep.
The ratio, mushrooms, onions,
And they were
Good.
good mushrooms, yeah.
you know, and the roll was pretty much just your standard roll.
Agreed.
You know, held the sandwich. Not the best roll we've had, not the worst roll.
No, it was average. It held up well, okay.
But overall, I believe that it was number 2 in our quest today.
Definitely a 2. Not hard to beat 2 because 3 was not that good.
It's not hard
And
to beat
one-
2 when there's only 3 in the running.
And 1 was clearly very good. So, you know,
It's a good number two.
it's not a bad number 2.
Okay, I think we need to stop talking about number 2.
How does this? Let me ask you this: how does this number 2 compare to last week's 3 cheesesteaks?
Okay, well, I believe that maybe today I'm going to have to say that number 1 might have been Paul Revere.
Oh, it was.
Okay, and then I believe that
You can have your own number one. You don't have to.
You don't need confirmation from me.
All
No.
I need is you have your number one. Yes, his number.
But it's good you agreed with me.
yeah, I understand. But listen, when it comes to number 1 and number 2, it's kind of personal.
Yeah.
I like to keep mine personal. Thank you very much. So that was number 1 in the places that we've gone to so far.
Okay.
And I believe that, although I stated earlier that I liked Michael's and I thought it was good, I've been there before and I don't think it was the best I've had from Michael's. So with that said, I still think it might inch out as number 2, where this would then be number 3.
Yep. I agree with that. I think it's a close call, 2 and 3, but I think you can make an argument either way. Having it been a week ago that we went to Michael's, sometimes we're a little older, we don't remember as well. But Yeah, they're right there, both of them, 2 and 3, and Revere was number 1, and we won't go into the other ones that are, you know, not even making the top 3. We don't have time for that. We're getting older, right? Am I right?
I'm as young as I was a minute ago. Thank you. Jim Pappas has left the room. We're not really sure where he's gone.
I think he was holding his stomach.
Uh-oh.
Is he back?
He's not.
Oh no.
He's still gone.
Oh. I hope it wasn't something he ate.
I hope not.